This is Meet Sean, where we break down real life topics insurance, annuities, real estate, travel planning, and home ownership so you can make smarter moves. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode.
So, um, I want you to picture this scenario.
Yeah.
It is late at night, you're scrolling on your phone, and you find it.
Ah, the Holy Grail.
Right, the Holy
Oh.
Grail. The absolute perfect product. Maybe it's a pair of noise-canceling headphones, or maybe a new espresso machine. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that it has 5 stars.
And the thousands of ratings.
Thousands. People aren't just reviewing this thing, they're writing poetry about it. They're saying it changed their lives, it saved their marriage.
Yeah, you're buying a ticket on the hype train at that point.
Exactly. You buy the ticket, you click purchase, you wait by the door like a loyal puppy for the delivery, and then it arrives, you tear open the box, and it is just absolute junk. It feels cheap, it smells like plastic, it breaks within 20 minutes, and you're just left standing there holding this piece of garbage thinking, am I crazy? Like, did everyone else get a totally different product than me?
It is the ultimate modern consumer betrayal. I mean, we've all been there. It's that sinking feeling that the map you were following, the reviews, was drawn by someone who actively wanted you to get lost.
It makes you want to throw your phone across the room. But today, we're not just going to complain about it. We're going to fix it. We're doing a deep dive into the truth about reviews.
A very necessary deep dive.
Definitely. We're working off a really comprehensive guide from CoquinaPublish.com that basically acts as a field manual for spotting the fakes.
And the goal here isn't to make you paranoid. Well, maybe a little paranoid. But mostly it's to turn you into a detective. By the end of this deep dive, we want you to be able to look at a product page and spot the fraud in about 60 seconds flat.
60 seconds. I mean, that is a pretty bold promise because, honestly, most of us just look at the star rating and move on. We just don't have time to do a forensic audit on a toaster.
Right.
But before we get to the how, we really have to talk about the how much. Like, how bad is this problem really? Is it just a few bad apples?
I really wish it were. It is significantly more systemic than that. Just to grab your attention right out of the gate, studies suggest that up to 20% of the reviews you see online might be completely fake.
Wait, 20%? 1 in 5.
1 in 5. So imagine you're in a room with 5 people giving you advice on what to buy. One of them is a paid actor just lying to your face.
That is genuinely terrifying. Because
Yeah.
if I'm looking at a product with 1,000 reviews, that means 200 of them are potentially fabricated. That distorts reality completely. It's not just a little nudge, it's a shove.
Precisely. And we really need to unpack this. We need to look at the psychology of why we fall for it, the specific tells in the language and the timing, and the legal hammer that is starting to come down on companies that do this. Because, and I think a lot of people don't realize this, fake reviews aren't just annoying, they are illegal.
Okay, let's start with this psychology then. Because I like to think of myself as a smart shopper. I don't click on those "you want a cruise" emails. I don't buy stuff from dodgy, unencrypted websites.
Yeah.
So why do these reviews bypass my radar? Why do we trust them so implicitly?
It really comes down to a fundamental shift in the marketplace. Think about how shopping worked 30 or 40 years ago. If you wanted to buy a vacuum, you watched a commercial where the brand told you they were the best.
Right, the whole trust us we're experts era.
Exactly. But we became cynical. We stopped trusting ads. We stopped trusting billboards and corporate messaging. So where did that trust go? It didn't disappear. It moved laterally. We started trusting each other, or at least people we think are each other.
That's the social proof concept, right?
But that's the one. The source material highlights a really fascinating insight from Forbes. It notes that consumers now trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations from friends and family. That is a massive psychological leap.
It really is.
You are trusting a stranger with the handle user123 as much as you trust your own sister.
When you put it that way, it sounds insane. But I do it. If 50 people say a restaurant is great, I just assume they can't all be wrong. It feels like a safety in numbers thing.
Because it's an evolutionary shortcut. If the whole tribe eats the berry and doesn't die, the berry is safe. The problem is, in the digital age, you can buy members of the tribe. You can literally manufacture the safety. And that's why fake reviews are so damaging to brands in the long run.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Because obviously, faking reviews boosts sales in the short term. It gets the product moving. But what happens when the truth comes out?
It's a catastrophe for the brand. The source points out that while you might trick a buyer once, you destroy the reputation forever. Losing trust leads to damaged loyalty. And in an era where we completely rely on social proof, if a brand is caught faking the proof, They are essentially exiled from the tribe.
Nobody goes back to the poisonous berry bush.
Exactly.
So let's get into the detective work. I'm looking at a product page right now in my mind. What is the very first thing that should set off my alarm bells? The source talks about red flag number 1 being language and content.
Right. This is your too good to be true filter. You want to look for what we call the superlative trap.
Superlatives. So words like the best, the greatest, life-changing.
Yes, but it's not just that they are positive, it's that they are vaguely positive. Real human beings are rarely 100% satisfied without some sort of nuance. If you see a review that says, this is the most amazing, incredible, fantastic blender in the universe, but it doesn't actually tell you why, you need to be suspicious.
It's all adjectives, no nouns.
That is a great way to put it. A real person usually has a specific context when they write a review. They'll say something like, the blender is powerful, but it's so loud it woke up my cat. Or, the smoothie was smooth, but cleaning the blades is an absolute nightmare.
Right. I mean, I never write a review that's just, it was glorious. I'm usually writing because something specific happened. The pizza arrived cold, or the crust was perfectly crispy.
And that is the balanced view test. Genuine reviews usually have friction. They mention pros and cons. If you are scrolling and you see 10 reviews in a row that are just pure, unadulterated adoration with zero specific details about the product's actual function, you are likely looking at a copy-paste job.
So vagueness is the enemy here. If they can't tell me how the handle feels or how long the battery lasts, they probably never even held the thing.
Or they're a bot programmed to just dump positive keywords to boost the search ranking.
Which leads us perfectly into red flag number 2. This is where we put on our forensic lab coats, I guess. We're talking about patterns and timing. This seems a bit more technical.
It is slightly more technical, but you don't need a degree in data science to spot it. You just need to look at the when, not just the what.
Okay, so what exactly am I looking for in the when?
Look at the timestamps. This is very often the smoking gun. Let's say a product has been out for 6 months. A normal organic review pattern would be a slow trickle. A review here, a review there, maybe a small bump after the holidays.
Just natural human behavior. It's random.
Exactly. Chaos is human.
Yeah.
But order is artificial. If you see 15 5-star reviews all posted on November 12th between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m.,
That's a coordinated attack.
that is a review burst. It often happens because a seller has hired a service, sometimes a bot farm or a group of paid reviewers, and told them to go boost the rating, and they all basically clock in at the same time.
So if I see a cluster of glowing praise all from last Tuesday, that is not a coincidence. That's a marketing campaign.
Highly likely. Also look for a repetition in the phrasing itself. Bots and lazy paid reviewers often work off a script. If you see the phrase, great gift for dad, appear in 3 different reviews by 3 supposedly different people, that's a massive red flag. Humans are unique. Scripts are repetitive.
It's like hearing 3 people at a party tell the exact same joke with the exact same inflection. You just know something is up.
That's a perfect analogy, and this connects directly to the third red flag, which is the reviewer profile.
Which is fun because I feel like nobody actually does this. We read the text of the review, but we never click on the user's name.
And that is exactly what the scammers are banking on. They count on your laziness. But if you took 2 seconds to click that username, you can often see their entire reviewing history.
And what are we looking for in their permanent record?
You're looking for consistency and volume. Does this person only give 5-star reviews? Are they somehow the happiest, luckiest consumer on planet Earth who has never, ever bought a bad product?
I love this toaster. I love these socks. I love this industrial lubricant.
Right. If their history is just a wall of 5 stars across completely unrelated categories, and specifically if they reviewed a toaster, a pair of shoes, and a lawnmower all in the exact same afternoon, that is not a human being. That is a bot or a paid account.
Because real people get tired. I might review one thing if I'm really motivated. I am not reviewing 30 items on a Saturday afternoon.
This is the concept of reviewer fatigue. Real people have lives. Fake accounts have quotas.
Now, what about the verified purchase badge? I've always been told that's the gold standard. If it says verified, it means they actually bought it, so it must be a real review, right?
It is a strong filter, but you really cannot treat it as gospel. The source material, specifically regarding platforms like Amazon, points out that this system can absolutely be gamed.
Wait, how do you game a verified purchase? Don't you literally have to buy the item?
You do. But here's the loophole. Let's say I am a shady seller. I find a group of people online, maybe in a social media group. I tell them, go buy my product for $20, leave a 5-star review. Once you do, I will PayPal you the $20 back plus $5 for your trouble.
Ah, so to the platform system, It looks like a completely legitimate sale. Money actually changed hands on the site.
Correct. The platform sees a real transaction and automatically awards the verified badge. But the motivation for the review was purchased entirely off platform. So yes, look for the badge. It definitely filters out the lazy bots. But if the review is still vague and overly superlative, the badge does not save it.
That is so devious. It really is an arms race between the retail platforms and the scammers.
It absolutely is.
Okay, I want to talk about the star rating itself for a minute. Because I will admit, I am guilty of being a 4 stars and up snob. If I see a product with 3 stars, I just assume it's garbage. If I see 4.8 stars, I'm immediately interested. But the source guide suggests I might be looking for the wrong number entirely.
You are falling right into the 5-star myth. We are deeply conditioned to seek perfection. But in the messy world of retail and shipping and manufacturing, perfection is statistically impossible.
So what is the sweet spot then? What number should I actually trust?
The source reveals a really counterintuitive finding. Ratings between 3.5 and 4.5 stars are often significantly more trustworthy than a perfect 5.
That feels so low. A 3.5.
Think about it from a reality standpoint. A 3.5 to 4.5 implies a mix of experiences. It means some people loved it, some people thought it was just okay, and some people hated the shipping time or the packaging. That variance reflects reality. It shows a genuine spread of human experience.
That actually makes total sense. If something is a 4.2, it means real, flawed people have interacted with it. If it's a 5.0 with 500 reviews,
It's too polished. It's the uncanny valley of consumer products. It looks real on the surface, but your brain knows something is just slightly off.
Now, you mentioned something earlier about negative reviews. We usually assume fakes are all positive,
Yeah.
trying to boost a product up. But you said there's a dark side to this.
Oh, absolutely. It is not just about hype, it's also about sabotage. The source calls this the 1-star sabotage.
So this is competitors actively attacking each other.
Yes. Imagine you launch a brand new headphone company. Your biggest competitor might literally hire a click farm to flood your page with 1-star reviews the very week you launch to kill your momentum.
That is ruthless.
It is weaponized feedback. And just like the fake 5-star reviews, these fake 1-stars are usually incredibly vague. Terrible, don't buy. Worst ever. There are no details, no photos, just pure anger. So, as a detective, you have to be skeptical of the extremes on both ends of the spectrum.
So the truth is in the middle. It's almost always in the middle.
Almost always.
This all sounds exhausting, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to buy good stuff, but I do not want to be Sherlock Holmes every single time I need to buy AAA batteries. Is there a faster way to do this?
Thankfully, yes. You don't have to do this all manually. We live in the age of automation, so you can fight bots with bots.
Why fire with fire? What kind of tools are we talking about here?
There are quite a few browser extensions and websites, things like online review analyzers, where you can just paste the URL of the product page. These tools run complex algorithms that look for everything we just discussed. They track the velocity of the reviews, the repetition of the language, and the suspicious user profiles.
And they just give you a grade.
They often give you an adjusted rating. They might say, this product has a 4.8 on the retailer site, but after we stripped out all the suspicious bot activity, it's really a 2.5.
That is incredibly useful. It just lifts the veil completely.
It does. And on the flip side, brands are actually using similar tools. The source material mentions social media monitoring software. Good brands use this to track public sentiment. If they see a sudden, unnatural spike in fake negatives, they can flag it to the platform immediately and say, hey, we are under attack.
Which brings us to the legal side of things. You mentioned earlier that faking reviews is illegal. But is it illegal like driving 5 miles over the speed limit, or is it illegal like you're going to jail?
It is rapidly becoming illegal with serious commas in the fine. In the U.S., the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, is really waking up to this. Their core mandate is to stop deceptive or unfair acts. And fake reviews are the textbook definition of deceptive.
But do they actually bite? Or is it just barking at this point?
They are definitely starting to bite. The source highlights a landmark case from 2019 involving a company that sold fake followers and fake likes. They were hit with a $12.8 million fine.
Whoa, $12.8 million. That is not a slap on the wrist. That's a business-ending event.
Exactly. And that sent a massive shockwave through the industry. It established a hard precedent that you cannot invent your own reputation. You can't just buy popularity. If you do and you get caught, the financial penalty could completely wipe you out.
That's really good to hear. It feels like the Wild West of the internet is finally getting a sheriff.
Slowly, but yes. And we as everyday consumers are kind of deputized in this scenario.
How so? What can I actually do besides just rolling my eyes and closing the tab?
The source empowers the listener here. Reporting actually matters. If you see a review that is clearly a bot, it has that same repeated phrase, a weird timestamp, you should click the Report Abuse button.
Does that actually do anything, though? I always feel like those buttons just drop your complaint into a digital black hole.
It might feel that way on your end, but it feeds the platform's algorithm. It helps their AI learn what a fake looks like in real time. You are essentially training the guard dogs for them.
Okay, I can definitely do that. But there's another side to this responsibility, isn't there? If we hate fake reviews so much, we should probably be writing better real ones ourselves.
That is the ultimate long-term solution. You have to flip the script. If the internet is flooded with garbage noise, we need to be the ones contributing the actual signal.
So teach me, how do I write a review that actually helps other people? What are the best practices?
First rule, be constructive. Just writing it sucks is completely useless to everyone. Writing the interface is confusing because the buttons are too small is absolute gold.
So be specific.
Context is king. The source emphasizes sharing your personal experience. Did the shirt shrink in the wash? Did the headphones work fine on the plane but cut out in the office? That kind of specific context helps other buyers determine if the product is right for their specific life.
And I imagine keeping a cool head probably helps your credibility too.
Professionalism is key. A rant written in all caps with 40 exclamation points just looks like a tantrum. Most people scroll right past it. But a calm, highly detailed critique, that truly destroys a bad product. It carries weight because it's credible.
And ironically, good businesses actually want that kind of feedback, right?
They crave it. If a business replies to your critical, calm review and says, "Thank you, we didn't realize the buttons were too small, we'll fix it in the next version," that builds incredible trust with everyone reading. It shows they are actively listening.
That's very true. I respect a company that owns its mistakes way more than a company that pretends it never makes any.
100%.
So let's wrap this up with a bit of a cheat sheet for the listener. Next time you're about to buy that perfect item, what is the 60-second drill?
Step 1, ignore the star rating initially. Look at the distribution of the stars. Aim for that 3.5 to 4.5 sweet spot. Step 2, scan the language. Is it poetry or is it practical? Beware the superlatives. Step 3, check the dates. Did all these glowing reviews happen last Tuesday? And finally, do a quick spot check on a reviewer's profile. If they review 30 toasters a day, run away.
And use the tech tools if you can.
Absolutely. Don't fight fair. Use the online analyzers to check the URLs.
Before we sign off, I want to leave everyone with a thought about where this is all going. Because we talked a lot about bots today, but bots are getting smarter. AI is getting incredibly smart.
That is the big looming cloud over all of this. As generative AI gets better, it will be able to write fake reviews that actually have nuance. It will be able to write reviews that sound bored or annoyed or funny. It won't just be great product anymore. It will be, I liked it, but the shipping took 3 days and the box was dented.
That is chilling. If the fakes become completely indistinguishable from the real human reviews, what do we do then?
It raises a very provocative question. Will the internet eventually just eat itself? Will we circle all the way back to the pre-digital era where we only trust word of mouth from people we can physically see and touch?
The verified handshake, basically.
Exactly.
Right.
Or maybe the verified purchase badge becomes the only currency that matters at all. If you can't cryptographically prove you spent the money, your voice just doesn't count on the internet.
It is a fascinating, slightly dystopian future to think about. But until we get there, you just have to keep your eyes open.
And always verify your sources.
Thank you so much for diving deep with us today. Remember to shop smarter, not harder. We will see you next time.
That's it for today's Meet Sean. If this helped, follow the show and share this episode with one person who needs it. See you next time.